So one video is in the upload queue. Got the car to run, got the car to move. It is now sitting at the top of the driveway, and what's weird is that it doesn't want to start easily. So I just did a compression test. I didn't want to bore you guys because I know I've just been like going through random troubleshooting of what this could be. It had 210 compression across the board. The only thing is the spark plugs, let me grab one, they were completely black. So all four were like that. They were caked in oil. All of the coil packs were just like soaked. They were in like a standing half-inch of oil for the back three. The first one didn't have too much oil on it, but I don't know. I ordered a valve cover gasket and like the full O-ring kit, so I'm gonna have all new gaskets around that, new spark plugs. The only thing I can really think of after this that could be throwing it off is the crankshaft position sensor. But those aren't the cheapest, so what I'm probably going to do is throw this stuff at it, see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll get a ohm reader, and you can read the ohms at the crank. It's all the way down there. There's a little 5mm Allen head bolt. You take that off, then you can test the ohms on it, and I believe it's supposed to be at like 500, I want to say. I could be wrong. I'm trying to rethink of what I was reading on forums. So I believe it's supposed to be around 500, and if it's not, then it's going to be throwing the wrong signal from reading the cam, which should throw the wrong timing and fuel and all that. I'm still also debating throwing a timing light on it, because I'm still not 100% convinced that that's not like a potential issue. But I don't know, because I've never had a car go out of timing. So I'm going to throw this stuff at it. We'll see what happens, and yeah, I'll do a little time lapse. Alright, so I started the valve cover job, took everything apart. These 4-cylinder cars, super easy. It's one little bolt there, one bolt there. Those are the shorter two. And then all these longer ones are the surrounding bolts. They have these little press fittings, which is super nice. They don't have these on some of the newer engines. So what that does is you can loosen all of them, take the valve cover off without the bolts popping off and falling in the engine bay. Yeah, that took like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. But then I got this over here, put the valve cover on the engine hoist, sanded it down, hit it with all the different degreasers and whatnot. So she's looking pretty good. I haven't decided on what color I'm going to paint it. I'm leaning towards like a wrinkle red, just because it would look pretty clean. And also, whenever I drive this car, at like drift events, different things, when people ask what the motor is, their first assumption is always Honda. So I just think it would be a good meme to have a red valve cover, and they're all going to think it's a B18, but realistically it's a little M42. Well, as long as I can get it running. But I'm going to go run to FCP, grab the gasket, grab some spark plugs, give this thing a shot. Other than that, it had perfect compression. I'm not seeing anything like alarming. The timing looks to be in check. They're not, facing each other, so it's hard to tell if the arrows are perfect, but it looks like they're in the same location where they should be when spinning. So I'm gonna go grab some gaskets, plugs, put it all back together. I forgot to time lapse the first one, so if I remember, I'll time lapse this one, and hopefully it's back together in a second. Alrighty, so since it was out of the car, I decided to sand it down, hit it with a bunch of chemical cleaner, get it nice and clean. And I got some VHT. It says that it's for headers, but it's a nice flat red, kind of looks like that Honda valve cover red. So I'm going to spray it down with it, put it all back together with the new gaskets and new plugs. And yeah, I guess we'll just see where it goes from there. So this is drying. What I love about the VHT paint stuff, dries super quick. So I literally applied this like a minute ago, and as you can see, it's already getting pretty dry. Kind of noticing it's drying a little bit pink. but I really don't care that much. It's pretty red, which was the ultimate goal. So I'm gonna just be happy with that, and while it's drying, I'm gonna throw the spark plugs in. That's probably about it while it's drying, because it's only gonna take a few minutes to dry. Then I'll take all the towels out, take the tape off, put it all back together, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so we got the new spark plugs in there, treating it to some nice NGKs. Top end looks pretty clean on this thing. There is like the tiniest bit of sludge buildup, but really it's nothing. I'm sure if I ran like some of that top end cleaner, like the camshaft cleaner stuff or whatever, in there and then did an oil change, probably be perfect. But I don't even know if I really have to worry about that, because it's clean enough that it's like, why bother? So that should be about dry. I gotta go throw all the gaskets on these little nuts and press them into the valve cover and then pop it on. So I don't know if you've ever done a valve cover on an M42. These little bolts, they're pretty neat. They press into the valve cover so that you can take them out at the same time as just pulling the whole thing. The little grommets are a pain to get off though, so I just recommend using a pair of snippers, clipping them off and popping the new ones on. It's kind of a pain, takes a few minutes, but definitely worth it to have new gaskets all around. Alrighty, so got the engine all back together. Didn't actually fix it, but now I don't have oil pouring into my spark plugs, don't have oil leaking all over the exhaust, so if anything, it's going to help it in the once I do get it running. I'm thinking that the crank position sensor is going to be the next thing I'm going to test, because at this point I am very confused. I have fuel, I have spark, I have compression, I have no leaks, so the spark plugs are making nice contact. Yeah, I've read that the crank position sensor, one of the symptoms of it is a long crank. So I was trying to avoid doing it. I'm probably going to test for the ohms, because I watched a YouTube video on how to test for the ohms and to see if it's still good, but gonna try that out. Hopefully I don't have to buy a new one, because they're like $150, but hey, if it gets it running, then whatever. It's a sensor. I'm gonna be mad that I did all this other stuff when it could have been that, but I really don't know. I don't know what else to test, so if you guys have any recommendations, please throw them down in the comments. If you ever had anything like this happen to an M42, let me know how you fixed it, or even if it's something similar to any other engine. I'm down to test whatever at this point, because I am very confused. I can get the car to start if I sit there and crank it for like a minute, or if I hit it with, the other day I hit it with starting fluid and it started, but it was getting gas, so I actually don't. We may have to do some more testing, but that'll be in tomorrow's video. And other than that, I hope you guys have a great one. So, cool. See ya.